5 years ago, Lauren and I stood together in our brand new home. She smiled warmly and said, "This is our forever home." I believed her completely. I believed in us. I believed love was enough. But 6 months ago, in that same living room, Lauren looked me straight in the eyes and said, "I am disgusted every time you touch me. I want us to swap partners with Derek and Samantha." I did not yell. I did not cry. I just nodded, and quietly I started planning. Before I tell you how I quietly dismantled everything she built, let me know where you are watching from. Drop your city in the comments. And if you believe karma has a way of finding people, hit that subscribe button. You are going to want to see how this unfolds. My name is Jeffrey. I am 35 years old and I work as a software engineer at a tech company here in Phoenix, Arizona. I have always been the quiet type. The kind of guy who avoids conflict, works hard, and loves deeply when he commits to someone. I met Lauren 7 years ago, through a mutual friend at a barbecue. She was 26 back then, bright and full of energy, working her way up in a real estate company called Pinnacle Real Estate Group. By the time we got married 2 years later, she had become a financial manager there, handling commissions and internal accounts. For the first 5 years of our marriage, I genuinely thought we had it all. We bought a 4-bedroom house in the suburbs of Phoenix, complete with a backyard and a small garden. Lauren said she wanted to fill with flowers. We talked about having kids in a few years. We spent weekends cooking together, watching movies, and going on hikes through the desert trails. I remember one Sunday morning so clearly. Lauren was making pancakes while I brewed coffee. We sat on the back porch watching the sunrise paint the sky in shades of orange and pink. She leaned her head on my shoulder and whispered, "I could do this forever." I believed her. About 3 years ago, Lauren met a woman named Samantha at a yoga class. Samantha was a nurse, outgoing and social, always organizing dinners and get-togethers. Her husband Derek worked as a real estate agent at the same company as Lauren. The four of us started spending time together. Dinners at local restaurants, game nights at our place, the occasional weekend trip to Sedona. I thought it was nice that Lauren had found a close friend. Derek was a bit too confident for my taste, the kind of guy who always had to be the loudest in the room, but I did not think much of it. I just wanted Lauren to be happy. But somewhere along the way, things started to shift. It was subtle at first, about a year before that terrible night. Lauren began coming home later than usual, always blaming meetings with clients. Her phone was constantly face down on the table, and when I asked about it, she would roll her eyes and say I was being paranoid. The passcode changed and she never told me the new one. Our conversations grew shorter. She stopped saying I love you before bed. Our intimacy, which had once been frequent and natural, dwindled to almost nothing. Then came the criticisms. Small at first, but they grew sharper over time. "You are always home, Jeffrey. It is boring. You do not know how to enjoy life. Derek and Samantha travel all the time. Why do we never go anywhere?" I tried to fix things. I suggested vacations, but she said she was too busy with work. I bought tickets to a concert she had mentioned wanting to see, and she told me she was not in the mood. I started going to the gym, bought new clothes, even learned to cook her favorite dishes. None of it mattered. She remained distant cold, and I began to feel like a stranger in my own home. I blamed myself. Maybe I was working too much. Maybe I was not exciting enough. Maybe I had let myself become predictable. I tried everything I could think of to reignite the spark, but nothing worked. Lauren seemed to be drifting further away with each passing week, and I had no idea why. Then came that Friday night 6 months ago. I decided to make one last effort. I set up a romantic dinner at home. Candles on the table, her favorite pasta, a bottle of wine we had been saving for a special occasion. I wanted to talk, to reconnect, to find out what had gone wrong between us. When Lauren walked through the door and saw the setup, her face showed no emotion. She sat down without touching the food. "Jeffrey, we need to talk," she said. I thought maybe she wanted to discuss starting a family. Maybe she had been distant because she was stressed about something at work. I was ready to listen, to support her, to do whatever it took. But then she said the words that shattered everything. "I cannot do this anymore. Every time you touch me, I feel disgusted. The air left my lungs. I could not breathe. I could not move." She continued, as if she were discussing the weather. "I have been talking to Samantha. We think partner swapping might save our marriages. Derek and Samantha are in. I want you to sleep with Samantha, and I will be with Derek." She said it so casually, so matter-of-factly, like she was proposing a change in our dinner plans. I stared at her, searching for any sign of pain or hesitation in her eyes. There was none. Only calculation. Only a quiet confidence that she had already won. Every instinct in my body screamed at me to flip the table, to demand answers, to walk out that door and never look back. But something stopped me. A voice in my head, quiet but firm, said, "Wait. There is more to this. Find out what." So, I swallowed the rage burning in my chest and forced out the words, "Let me think about it." Lauren smiled. It was a small, satisfied smile, the kind someone wears when they believe they have gotten exactly what they wanted. That smile. That was the moment I knew. This was not about saving our marriage. This was about something else entirely. And I was going to find out what. For the next few nights, I lay beside Lauren in our bed, staring at the ceiling while she slept peacefully. My mind raced in circles. Why would she propose something like this? Why Derek specifically? Why now? The questions haunted me, and sleep became impossible. I decided I needed answers before making any decisions. One night, while Lauren was in a deep sleep after coming home late from what she claimed was a work dinner, I reached for her phone on the nightstand. Her old passcode no longer worked, just as I expected. But then a thought crossed my mind. Almost instinctively, I typed in Derek's birthday. The phone unlocked. My heart stopped. I opened her messages and found a conversation with Derek that stretched back 2 years. 2 years of lies. 2 years of betrayal, happening right under my nose. "I miss you," Lauren had written just 3 days ago. "Cannot wait until Friday." "Jeff will not suspect anything," Derek replied. "He is so clueless." "This swap thing will make everything easier," Lauren responded. I scrolled further, my hands trembling. There were photos. Lauren and Derek at a hotel I had never heard of. At restaurants she told me were client dinners. At a beach resort during a weekend she said was a work conference. The evidence was overwhelming, undeniable, devastating. But the messages revealed something even darker. The partner swap was not about saving marriages. It was a carefully orchestrated plan. By getting Samantha and me to agree to it, Lauren and Derek would create a situation where neither of us could claim victimhood. We would be complicit. Then after a few months they would initiate divorces, claiming the arrangement simply did not work out. No fault, no blame, clean separations. And after that, Lauren and Derek planned to get married. They had been discussing it for months. They would use the divorce settlements and money Lauren had been setting aside to start their own real estate company together. I was nothing more than a pawn in their game, a stepping stone to the life they had been building behind my back. But there was more. I remembered that Lauren handled finances at her company. With shaking hands, I went to her laptop, which she often left at home. The password was the same as her phone. I found spreadsheets hidden in a folder labeled Personal Projects. The documents revealed that Lauren had been creating fake commission reports for Derek, funneling money to him for sales he never actually made. Over the past year, she had embezzled nearly $50,000 from Pinnacle Real Estate Group, company money stolen to fund their affair and their future plans. Samantha knew nothing. She was as much a victim as I was, an innocent woman whose husband had been lying to her face while plotting to abandon her. That night, I sat alone in our garage, the one place Lauren never bothered to enter. I looked at our wedding photos on my phone, images of a day that now felt like a cruel joke. Tears streamed down my face. Not because I missed Lauren, but because I was mourning the person I thought she was. 7 years of my life built on a foundation of lies. The anger came next, hot and consuming. I wanted to storm into our bedroom, shake her awake, and scream the truth in her face. I wanted to drive to Derek's house and put my fist through his smug jaw. But then, I heard my father's voice in my head. Harold, a retired mechanic who raised me after my mother passed when I was 12, always told me, "Son, never act when you are angry. Think first, plan, then act." I took a deep breath, then another. I wiped my tears and opened the Notes app on my phone. I typed a single word at the top of a blank page: plan. I would not be their victim. I would not scream or beg or fall apart. I would nod, smile, and quietly dismantle everything they had built. If Lauren wanted to play games, I would show her how the game ends. I walked back inside, climbed into bed next to her, and for the first time in months, I slept peacefully, because I finally had clarity. And clarity is a dangerous thing. The next morning, I called my older brother Marcus. He is 39, a family lawyer with a sharp mind and an even sharper tongue. I told him everything. The affair, the fake commission, reports the embezzlement, the partner swap scheme. When I finished, there was a long silence on the other end of the line. "Jeffrey," he finally said, "you have evidence of adultery. That alone gives you leverage in a divorce. But embezzlement, that is a criminal offense. If you report that to her company, she will not just lose her job. She could face prosecution." I let his words sink in. What are my options? You can walk away quietly with a favorable divorce settlement, or you can burn it all down. He paused. "What do you want, little brother?" I did not hesitate. "I want her to lose everything she thought she was going to get." Marcus helped me develop a 4-step plan. First, I would gather and secure all evidence: screenshots of messages, copies of the financial documents, everything backed up to cloud storage, USB drives, and his law office. Second, I would protect my personal assets by opening new accounts and documenting that the down payment for our house came entirely from my pre-marriage savings. Third, Marcus would prepare divorce papers loaded with evidence of her infidelity. Fourth, and most importantly, I would report the embezzlement to Pinnacle Real Estate Group, but only at the exact right moment. For the next 3 weeks, I played the role of the oblivious husband perfectly. I told Lauren I had thought about her proposal, and I was willing to try the partner swap. She hugged me, told me she knew I would understand, that this would be good for both of us. I smiled and nodded while counting down the days. During those weeks, I collected everything I needed. I recorded phone calls between Lauren and Derek, which is perfectly legal in Arizona, since it is a one-party consent state. I documented every suspicious transaction in her financial records. I built an airtight case. Then I did something Lauren never expected. I reached out to Samantha. I asked her to meet me at a coffee shop on the outskirts of town, somewhere we would not be recognized. When she arrived, she looked confused, but curious. I did not waste time with small talk. I handed her my phone and let her read the messages between our spouses. I watched her face crumble. The color drained from her cheeks. Her hands shook as she scrolled through 2 years of lies. When she finally looked up, tears were streaming down her face. "I am so sorry," I said, "but you deserve to know the truth." "What are you going to do?" she whispered. "I have a plan." "Do you want to be part of it?" Samantha wiped her eyes and nodded. She was not broken. She was furious. And fury properly directed is a powerful weapon. We agreed on our roles. Samantha would pretend everything was normal. She would go along with the partner swap plan as if nothing had changed. And on the day everything was supposed to happen, we would strike together. Let me be clear. There was nothing romantic between Samantha and me. We were not attracted to each other. We were simply two people who had been betrayed by the ones we loved most, united by our shared pain and our desire for justice. The weeks crawled by. I watched Lauren grow more relaxed, more confident that her scheme was working perfectly. She started spending money more freely, buying new clothes and expensive makeup. She was preparing for her new life with Derek, funded by the wreckage of our marriage. She had no idea what was coming. The day finally arrived. Lauren woke up excited, practically glowing. She picked out a new dress, spent an hour on her hair and makeup. Tonight is going to change everything, she said as she headed out the door. I smiled at her. You have no idea. At 2 in the afternoon, I sent an email to the CEO of Pinnacle Real Estate Group. Attached were the spreadsheets, the fake commission records, screenshots of messages where Lauren discussed manipulating the numbers. I copied the head of Human Resources and the legal department. At 3 in the afternoon, Marcus hand-delivered divorce papers to Lauren's office. He made sure to arrive when the reception area was full of her coworkers. At 4 in the afternoon, Samantha sent Derek a single text message. I know everything. My lawyer will be in contact. Simultaneously, she posted on the social media group she shared with their mutual friends. She did not reveal details, just wrote, "Some people are not who they pretend to be. Trust your instincts." The dominoes fell fast. Lauren was called into the HR director's office at 2:30. By 3, she was terminated on the spot for embezzlement. Security escorted her out of the building carrying a cardboard box of her personal belongings. She was standing on the sidewalk, humiliated and confused, when a courier approached her with the divorce papers. She called me immediately. I did not answer. She called again and again. I let it ring. She called Derek next, desperate for support. But Derek was dealing with his own crisis. Samantha had locked him out of their house. His company had launched an investigation into his commission records. His carefully constructed life was collapsing around him. "We need to lay low," he told Lauren over the phone. There was no "I love you," no words of comfort, just panic. Where was I? During all of this, I was sitting in my father's living room, drinking a cold beer, watching the sun set over the Arizona desert. My phone was turned off. My mind was quiet for the first time in months. Dad sat beside me, not saying much. He never was a man of many words. But as the sky turned from orange to deep purple, he put his hand on my shoulder and said, "You did the right thing, son." I nodded. And for the first time in 2 years, I felt free. Lauren wanted to swap partners. Instead, she swapped her entire life for nothing. The aftermath unfolded over the following months. Lauren was charged with embezzlement. Her case went to court, and she received a suspended sentence along with an order to repay every dollar she had stolen. Her name was blacklisted in the Phoenix real estate community. No company would touch her after the scandal. Derek abandoned the moment Lauren became a liability, lost his job when the investigation revealed his complicity in the fake commission scheme. Samantha divorced him, and thanks to an excellent lawyer, Marcus recommended she kept their house and most of their assets. Last I heard, Derek moved to Nevada to start over from scratch. As for Lauren, without money, without a career, without Derek, she had no choice but to move back in with her parents in Tucson. She sent me messages for months afterward. Some were angry, accusing me of ruining her life. Others were desperate, begging for forgiveness, promising she would change. I never responded to a single one. There was nothing left to say. Samantha and I stayed in touch after everything settled. There was no romance between us, nothing like that. We were simply two survivors of the same shipwreck, checking in on each other as we rebuilt our separate lives. She started dating again about 6 months later, and the last time we spoke, she sounded genuinely happy. My own healing took longer. I sold the house in the suburbs. I could not stand being surrounded by memories of a life that had been nothing but an illusion. I moved into a smaller apartment closer to downtown Phoenix, a fresh start in every sense. The first few months were hard. I would wake up in the middle of the night, reaching for someone who was no longer there. Not because I missed Lauren, but because 7 years of habit does not disappear overnight. I found a therapist who helped me work through the anger and the grief. Not grief for the marriage, but for the years I had lost believing in something that never existed. I threw myself into work and earned a promotion I had been too distracted to pursue before. I reconnected with my father, calling him every Sunday sometimes, driving up to see him on weekends. I started hiking again alone this time, finding peace in the quiet of the desert trails. About a year after the divorce was finalized, I realized something had changed inside me. I no longer thought about Lauren every day. When her name did cross my mind, I felt nothing. Not anger, not sadness, not even satisfaction at how things had turned out, just complete indifference. And that indifference felt more liberating than any revenge ever could. I started dating again slowly and carefully. I was not looking for anyone perfect. I was just looking for someone honest, someone whose words matched their actions, someone who would never make me question my own worth. I used to think love meant accepting everything, tolerating any behavior because commitment required sacrifice. Now I understand that real love never asks you to accept betrayal. Real love never makes you feel disgusted or unwanted. Real love is built on mutual respect, and respect is something that can never be negotiated. Lauren wanted more than what we had. She schemed and manipulated and lied to get it. In the end, she lost everything. And me, I lost a marriage that was never real to begin with. But I gained something far more valuable. I gained myself back. If you are watching this, and you find yourself in a situation where someone makes you feel worthless, where someone treats your love as something disposable, I want you to know something. You do not have to accept it. You do not have to fight loudly or make a scene. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is nod, stay calm, and quietly build your exit. Because at the end of the day, the best revenge is not destruction. It is becoming someone they can never reach again. It is building a life so full and so peaceful that their memory fades into nothing. So, let me ask you this. Have you ever had to walk away from someone who did not deserve you? Have you ever found strength you did not know you had? Drop your story in the comments. I would love to hear from you. And if this story resonated with you, hit that like button so others can find it too. Subscribe to the channel if you want more stories like this one. And if you know someone who needs to hear this message, share this video with them. Sometimes a single story can change how we see our own situation. Thank you for spending this time with me. Whatever you are going through, remember that you are worth more than the way anyone treats you. Stay strong, trust yourself, and never settle for less than you deserve. Take care of yourselves.